Hi, I'm Gerardo Islas, and this is my sound design and implementation showreel of the open source game Cube using Audiokinetic Wwise. Here, I'm going to explain how was the process of my sound design and implementation into the game. The main approach of this project was to record, edit, and design all the sounds by my own. Some sounds were created specifically for this project, and others came from my personal library. The first task involved was to find what events were triggered by the game engine, to create an asset list to ensure I require sounds, stay organized, and keep track during the whole process. I started looking all the triggers in the script of the chosen level to know where the ambience can be triggered and where are the transitions between the different areas. The level starts in an exterior area like a swamp. For this, I recorded an ambience of a forest, sandbags, and birds. There are two continuous layers. The first is the ambience of the forest, and the second is a continuous cricket chorus pitched down. To make it more dynamic, I added some BG effects. Those are one-shot elements that were divided in 3 random containers. The first step for the bird and the bug was to randomize the positioning of the sound in the area. This was done in the user-defined position source in Wwise. I added 2 silencers with different duration in each container, also with the randomization in their time duration to increase even more the randomness of the performance of containers. For the wave sound, it's only a random container played in shuffle and continuous mode, with a half-second crossfade transition to avoid a silence between the different variations of the sound. For this area, I wanted to give the feeling of a scary and creepy atmosphere. This was created from my slow breathing pitched down 12 semitones and processed with GRM Tools Evolution plugin. Also, to increase the dynamic, I added 2 BG effects. One of them is a pipe clanks processed with Wormhole plugin. The other is a metal grid dragging on the floor recorded with a contact mic. The same method of random positioning was followed for these elements. For this area, I recorded a freezer for room 10 and processed with a pitch shifter. The computer beeps were made with a synthesizer. The sounds for this area are an air compressor machine processed with pitch shifter and EQ. The next 2 layers are an old elevator processed with reverb and EQ. The last layer is an excavator machine worked in the street processed with pitch shifter. All the weapons were divided in stems or categories: punch, body, mechanical sounds, tails, and reload. Each category has 4 variations of the sound and were implemented in their own random container. The shotgun was designed in the high frequencies with a metal impact with a high pass filter, also with the snare drum with a filter for high mids, and a doorknob rattle for mechanical sounds. The main body of the weapon is a metal impact. It was processed with distortion, compression, and delay. I added a kick drum for the low frequencies, processed with EQ, low buster, compression, and distortion to increase the punch of the shot. The tails are 2 metal impacts processed with reverb delay, also with envelopes in volume and pitch. This is to add more dynamic on the sound. The reload sound is a combination of a toy gun and a doorknob. The mechanical sounds for the machine gun are a doorknob and stapler gun. The body of the weapon is 3 different sounds of a good crash, divided in frequencies, high and mids. Also, I added a drum kick for the punch. For the tails, I followed a different method. I divided the tail of the real shot in slices. And with the EQ match of a filter equalizer, I applied the EQ profiler learned of the different slices of the real shot to a white noise audio clip. For this weapon, I also use the same sounds of other knob for mechanics, metal impacts for the body, drum kick for punch, and for the tails, the metal impacts with reverb delay and envelopes in volume and pitch. The initial attack of the rocket launcher is a drum kick, blowpipe, and a good impact. The mechanics are a metal hits. The body are two different sounds of a blowpipe. For the thrust is also a blowpipe with delays and envelopes in pitch. It was designed with a fireball whoosh, blowpipe, and a glass sound. It was created with fireball whoosh, glass sounds, and a lot of can tops dragging on floor. It's a laser sound made with massive and a blowpipe for punch. The first monster design was Bayo. I record myself combined with a sea lion roars processed with chorus and granular scene. Goblin was created with my voice and a dog runs processed with more further. It was designed with my voice pitched down, processed with convolution reverb with an impulse response of a metal scrapes. Ogre was designed with a dog roars pitched down and a camel sound. His voice was designed with my shoes moving on good floor, dog roars, dolphin, and a drill sound. Rhino was created with my voice processed with pitch shifter and a very short delay to give the robotic feeling. Slid was designed with my voice and a bird sound. The items were designed with mechanical sounds and tonal elements with absinthe. There are three kinds of surface for the chosen level: water, concrete, and metal. The steps were implemented into random containers for each surface, one for the left foot and one for the right. Both containers were placed into a sequence container with a silent source because calls are too fast. Then I added a metal rattle sound to the footsteps game event. When the player got into the water, I used the game event splash in player to trigger a underwater sound. And for the player swim, I applied the game state player into the water to turn off the default steps and activate the footsteps in water.